where it's new. It's a newer deck. It has never been stained or anything, but mill stamps everywhere. Now, if you're doing mill stamps, especially on a railing, we'll show these actually, we put those to the outside. And you can see, we're going to flip that. Let me flip it around this way. This is a mill stamp. This usually is the other way. Then there's mill stamps we can see on the floor of the deck, and they're all over. And they're usually on the bad side of the board, and usually they're underneath, and you don't see them. On this deck, they're all over the place. So the deck wasn't really built the way I would do it, we'll say. But the problem is now is it's already built, it's done, it's here, it is what it is. How do you handle the mill stamps? Well, a lot of people will clean, restore the deck like we need to here, get it fresh, and then stain it. But if you stain it and you leave the mill stamps, they actually get accentuated after you've sealed or stained it, and they show up even more. So a lot of people, what they do is they'll clean it all up and say, oh, how about the mill stamps and everything? And then what happens is with the mill stamps, they'll just get accentuated. So you want to sand them out now, and I'll show you how. So because they're going to leave a bright spot on the wood. If you leave a bright spot on the wood later and then you stain it or seal it, they're going to be accentuated just as much. So in this case, what we're going to do is I'll show you how to sand it, and then that way when we're done, you'll see what it would look like. Kind of have a better idea. So here we go. We're going to do that. I'm going to flip this around, and I'm going to come over here first. We had a mill stamp over here, and then what we did was we took it out and then we feather it in, and then we're actually going to show that over here. And then we'll do it on the floor as well. There's that mill stamp I showed you. And then here we are, we're going to feather around on each side of it, because we don't want to leave just a white spot right there. So we do this, when it's sealed or stained, it'll look a little more natural. And we do the same thing on the floor. Like I said, we have these mill stamps here. And the reason we do it first is if we were to do this later, they'd be bright spots. After we go through the cleaning and restoration process, these will be gone. Now, people think that these mill stamps will go away during pressure washing. They don't. The chemicals don't remove them. The time to do it is before you start. Just sand them out, and then you won't notice this after it's restored and dried. But again, you want to feather it out. A couple more over here we'll do. This board was replaced. And a mill stamp is what's on the wood from the Department of Agriculture, and information about the board, whether it was number 2, prime, whatever, select. Prime meaning no knots. This has a lot of knots on it as well. That's the information that's on those mill stamps. And again, they do not come out. Usually they're on the bottom side, as I just already said. But just to let you know, this is the time to do it. We get rid of the mill stamps. We're going to restore the deck now. Once we're done restoring the deck, we'll let it dry. We're going to stain it. When we stain it, you won't notice that we even came here that had mill stamps and it was stained that way. I'm Everett Abrams, the Wizard of Wood. Thanks for checking this out, and hopefully that helps you get rid of your mill stamps and you can stain a beautiful deck.